Hey, welcome, Tom Daddario. How are you, my friend?
John LaRocchia, great to see you. Or I wish we could hug, but whatever. High five. How are
Yeah,
you?
we are big huggers. Welcome to the Veritas NetX meeting. Tom Daddario. My name is John LaRocchia, president of the Laughter Saves Lives Foundation. Tommy, what's your title?
I don't know. I guess I'm a last responder. If we can give me that.
There we
name.
go. I'm a first responder. Tommy's a last responder. Tommy, you want to tell them what a last responder does in a nutshell? Maybe they don't know.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you're aware of this. It's something new that the FDNY has been doing lately, where if there's a building that has a problem, has a fire, and when the building's gone, I'll go back after the building is rebuilt just to make sure that everything's fine. If there's a coffee shop in the lobby, I make sure they have, they're making their lattes well and all that stuff. It's last responder.
We appreciate that, Tom.
I take it very seriously, John.
Laughter Saves Lives Foundation, LaughterSavesLives.org, would like to thank Veritas for making a donation. Laughter Saves Lives. I'm a retired New York City firefighter. After 9/11, I started the foundation as a way to remember my guys through laughter. We went to a lot of funerals, a lot of memorials, and I'm using laughter as a way to remember them, raising money for different charities. We do free shows at veterans hospitals. Our latest project is we're buying really nice boots for homeless and needy veterans. That's the kind of things we do. But look on LaughterSavesLives.org if you'd like to make a donation. Even if you'd like to practice, we need some help. Make a $50 donation. I want to see if the system is working. So go on there and make a $50 donation. What do you think, Tom?
That's a good idea. Practice makes perfect, right? Isn't that what they say?
Tommy, Veritas. I'm sitting here today and I'm going, what do these guys do? And I sent you that text message. Did you do any research?
No, I did some. Veritas means truth.
Really?
Yes, it means truth. So if you're listening, obviously, if whatever they say has got to be true.
The truth.
Absolutely. And they have patents. There's a lot of patents.
They got, Tom, you know what I found out? 2,000 plus global patents.
No, I knew that. I looked them all. I looked at them all already. They're amazing.
Really? Which ones did you look up, Tom? I don't believe you.
I mean, I know a few. I can name a few if you want to know a few.
Yeah, name two.
7 and 8. Two of my favorites.
7 and 8?
Yeah, and 841. That one, that's groundbreaking. I mean, not as much. I mean, I don't know if you did any of this research, but 793 is okay.
I don't think you did any either. To tell you the truth.
I mean, no, I really have. I mean, I think that if you take patents seriously, like I do,
yeah,
you really go out and you really do the proper research when you're working for a corporation.
Tommy, this is global patents. Did you even pick up a globe and say?
I have a globe. Unfortunately, mine has Yugoslavia on it. It's a little out of date. But I did do general patent, right? Didn't they name the patent after him? Wasn't he the first?
I think you're right.
Patented things.
Yeah.
General patent. After he retired, then he started doing this for a living.
As I was reading through it, Tom, I'm glad you looked all of that stuff up because it seems like you don't know that much. I looked up VM. They kept saying the term VM. Do you know what VM even stands for?
Did you say
VM? Did you Google it?
That's why we have to text and stick with emails. I thought you said BM.
No, I said VM. You just wanted to look up BM because you think there'd be something funny in there.
There really was.
What?
Well, it might have said something about. I mean, this is a family show. We can't talk about BM. About
bowel movement. You could say bowel. It's a scientific term, but you knew that. You knew I said VM. You just wanted to throw back on the air bowel movement. I know where you're going.
I mean that's possible, but it was more that I virtually wanted to do this the right way. I'm throwing a hint out there, aren't I?
You are. And I was going to bring up. I looked up these terms, and I'm not even going to ask you to define these because I know where you're going to go. They had virtual manipulation listed in there. Yes. Unprotected VMs. Don't go there. Don't even go there.
All right. Listen, what you do with your VMs is your business. If you decide to be unprotected, that's your concern. I'm going to protect my VM.
I agree. It's a personal issue.
Absolutely.
Let's get to personal issues. Virtual teaching. I have a grandson. You have some kids running around the house, and I hear you're having some difficulties with this virtual teaching at home learning.
No, it's very, very hard, John, because when you sit in front of a computer, now you take an 11-year-old, right? An 11-year-old girl, you put her in front of a computer, you turn the computer on, she's going to see a video on YouTube, or she doesn't care, or she sees a bird and she's disconnected and she's not going to be there. And then I have to go in front of the computer and sit there, and then the teacher comes back, and this like 11-year-old class, and the teacher is looking at me like, how many times was this guy left back? Like, I mean, I'm sitting there and all the kids are like in the like 11, they're 9 and 10 and 11. And she ran away because you see that blank look on your kid's face when you're trying to teach them something. And then my 7-year-old, he's going, oh, how long we got? How long I got to do this? How long I got to do this? How long do I have to do this? Every 5 seconds. How can I possibly be paying attention? It's such a different world we live in. John, do you remember the days when if a guy came up to you in the street and he was going like this, it scared the daylights out of you? Do you remember those days when a guy came over to you and he was like, or a stranger? Now you see a guy putting a glove on and you're like, thank God. The guy's
I don't know where you grew up, but not many people came to me on the street with a glove, Tommy. No. I don't want to get into that. But let me ask you this. Let me explain this to you, Tom. I have a 4-year-old grandson, and I did some virtual learning. You know, they had, you know what a teacher looks like when you have 4-year-olds, 12 of them in a class, like at home? Here's what she sees. She sees 12 screens, 12 empty seats, and every once in a while a kid runs by with a cookie and like a marker. That's virtual learning.
And I love when you forget the mic is on and you start yelling at your kid and you just assume that CPS is going to show up at your house like 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I swear to God, if you don't pay attention, I'm going to, and you're like, oh, can you mute that?
You know, I was quarantined for a month.
Oh my God.
I don't know if I told. I was down my basement quarantined for a month, and I wasn't supposed to be. My wife said to me, honey, go down and get a tangerine. And I thought she said, go quarantine. You know, because I'm Italian, we have that second refrigerator in the basement.
Right, and you were gone all that time.
Yeah, but it's not so bad, Tom, because guys, every other day they put some chicken cutlets on the stairs. That's all we need. We're not going to ask questions, right? Give me a chicken cutlet. I'll stay down there for a month.
Oh my God, I know.
So
we're gonna have a fun time today, right? Yeah. I mean, we're gonna do some comedy. We're gonna learn some stuff. So what's going on? What do we got? What do we got going on?
You know what I'd like to do right now, Tom? I'd like to bring up one of our friends, one of our favorite comics, a nationally touring comic, to add some yucks over here. Good friend of mine, Rich Walker's here to join us, Tom.
Cool. Rich, I'm clapping for you.
On. Yes, check. How you doing, everybody? It's a great privilege to be here today, and thanks for having me. I have to apologize to whoever's viewing this show right now. See this tooth right here? That's an implant. If it happens to come out during my performance, I'll tell you why. The last show I did, I was standing on the side of the stage, and right before the MC called me up, I hear a crack in my mouth. And I hear, ladies and gentlemen, Rich Walker. And I go up and I go, thank you. And my tooth goes sailing right into a guy's mozzarella sticks. I said, I'm going to need that back. That's $4,000. He says, okay, after you give me the $9 for the mozzarella sticks. So, but this is it. So hopefully we'll be fine. It's in now. I went to the dentist. He fixed it. And he says, what happened was there was something wrong with the glue or something. It was broken. And he says, you got to stop playing with it so much with your tongue. My tongue can't stay away from it. So he glues it back. And as soon as he says, whatever you do, don't play with it. Give it an hour. As soon as I walk out of his office, I'm like, so hopefully I'll be okay. But this is nice. This is nice to be amongst my own age demographics, I see. The last show I did, they put this young female comic up in front of me. She goes up and she goes, you know what I'm getting in the mail now? I'm getting postcards for eHarmony. You know what I get postcards in the mail now for? Pine Lawn Memorial Cemetery. And I rip up this card in little pieces like, this can't be for me. This has got to be for my wife. or the previous owner of the house, So, but if you look at the little montage on this card, little montage of pictures, there's a woman mourning her husband in the mausoleum. If that was my wife, she would have party balloons and a marching band. Just to make sure I don't get out of it, she would be mixing cement. Get back in there. You're not ruining my weekend. I'm going dancing. Yeah, that's how she is. Just drives me nuts. So now, if you read the small print on this card, and I'm sure wherever you are in the United States, you have cemeteries, and they're always sending you the things to buy their plots. But if you look at the small print here on the island especially, it says buy one plot, get the second plot for your spouse for free. And now I'm thinking to myself, now I have to be buried next to this woman for eternity? Death, just let me move on. Yeah, I want to go. Just let me go. Move on, I want to be buried in New York and her in Africa. That's how far apart we should be. Thank you for the laughs in the back, I hear. So later on that week, I'm on the phone with one of my friends telling him I got plots, I got this card for the plots. And Miss Nosy Buddy is listening to the conversation. So as soon as I hang up the phone, she goes, who is that? Was that the cemetery? Did you get the plots? I said, yes, I did. And remember you said on your bucket list, you always wanted to go on safari? Well, it's your lucky day. See, that's a callback to the Africa reference. This is tough without an audience live, So, but yeah, thank God we worked all that. But this is nice to be here. Lately, I've been doing a lot of benefit shows. Like I did a benefit show for kids baseball. Now, my son plays baseball, except this is the worst kid on the team. This kid is so bad. He slid into third base, and the coach was fuming mad. Not because he got out, because he was running from home. Do you have any idea what this does to a father? So my wife says, put him in soccer. Anybody could play soccer. We didn't realize there's a skill to soccer. And all the other kids are running circles around him. My son gets kicked in the face with the soccer ball. All the other parents started to laugh. So I started to laugh because I didn't want them to know that was my kid. Even I was screaming, learn the game already. Whose kid is this? Now, you are a parent or a grandparent out there. I got a little tip for you. Don't get there late for uniforms. I got the last shirt in the box, triple XL large. My son is this big. Now to make it worse for me, the kid's running around the field in a dress. He can't even open his legs. He's hopping. I got the only kid in the field hopping. He looks like Michael Flatley, the river dancer. So now if you could picture this, my wife hemmed up the shirt. Now he was a number 8. Now he's a 0. And I'm thinking, how apropos is that? Whoever's at home saying "oh," don't say "oh" because the joke's on you. I don't even have a son. No, I do. See, I get a laugh. That's a cheap laugh. I do have a son, except he's just bad in sports. But like he gets that from me because like I wouldn't know one sports celebrity if it wasn't for Dancing with the Stars. So now my wife takes the kids to a street fair. They had a street fair, and there was a karate dojo doing like a demonstration on the street, all kicking and chopping out there, So she comes home. She goes, by the way, I just want to let you know, I signed him up for karate. I'm like, oh, great. This is all this kid needs is karate now. He's going to get his butt kicked, I'm sure, every day. So she goes, I signed him up for karate. I said, well, that sounds like a lot of fun. How much did it cost for karate? And here's her face. I said, no, it sounds like a lot of fun. How much did it cost for karate? $1,700. I'm like, $1,700? Where's the lessons? In Japan? I could have got him from nothing from Mr. Miyagi. All he had to do was paint the fence. I saw the movie. So she goes, what did you want me to do? What did you want me to do? They picked him out of the crowd. I go, no, they picked you out of the crowd. Goes, well, I was confused because he broke the board. I go, everybody breaks the board. It's matzah. So anyway, I'll leave you with this real quick. The pandemic is the greatest thing in the world that could ever happen to the school district, because they do everything in their power to get those kids home. They don't want them in school. They never want. That's why they have holidays, like Martin Luther King's birthday, 3 Mondays in a row in my school. Teachers conference, 4 nights. There's 12 kids in the class. So, so what happens now, beginning of the year, my phone's ringing, right? And they go, Mr. Walker, your son pushed another kid. We're sending him home today. Then in the middle of the year, I see it's ringing again. I see the school district. I'm like, don't pick it up. I got stuff I have to do. I have to go to Home Depot. I have to go to the post office. I don't want to hang out with his ass all day. So it's ringing. I pick it up. And they go, oh, Mr. Walker, it's a school nurse. Your son has a tummy ache. We're sending him home today. So now, just the other day, it's ringing again, but this time I'm prepared. I see the school district, 9 o'clock in the morning. I pick it up and I go, you're keeping the kid to the end of the day. I checked the law and you got to keep the kid. And he goes, no, you don't understand. This is the principal and we're giving your son the Student Leadership Award. I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. What does he get? We're sending him home today. Well, thank you guys so much. I hope that was good.
Rich Walker, that was all right. That was all right. Rich Walker, right. Come on, let's hear it for Rich. It's so hard, Tommy. It's so hard doing stand-up without an audience. Rich even thought he heard a laugh in the back room, but
I think it was me.
Bobby stepped on the cat. He stepped on the cat.
Johnny, I got to say, man, Rich is talking about. I'm so like that. Like I look like I like sports. Like I wear, I look like, people look at me, they think I like sports. I have no idea. People say stuff to me like when there's like a game, if there's a big game happening, I've always gotten the thing like where I'm in the store, because how somebody always tries to find commonality, like they always say something to you. So I'm in a store standing next to some guy, we're checking out groceries, and he's like, hey, so what do you think of the big game Sunday? So I always just I answer with answers that are stock answers. Like I just go like, well, as long as they control the ball. Like I say something like that. You know what I mean? Like so that the guy thinks I know what I'm talking about. It was a hockey game.
I was just gonna say
it was the Devils. The Devils were playing, and I was going, as long as they control the ball. And he looked at me like, you mean in the Devils game? And then I was like, wah, wah, and I felt like an idiot.
Hey, you know what, Tom? Right now I want to bring out Angelo Shasha, Senior Vice President at NetX. Thanks, Angelo, for having us. How you doing, Angelo?
Doing great, man. That was some good laughs there.
Thank you, Angelo. You know what? Tell us a little bit about why we're here today, Angelo.
Well, I mean, we're doing an event, right? So we thought for a comedy event, everyone can definitely use a laugh right now. The comedy idea was kind of a no-brainer, right? The fact that you guys are an excellent charity, near and dear to me and a lot of folks at Veritas and NetX's heart. 9/11 was a big thing for us, right? And then B, really the state of things the way things are in our area, we just couldn't put together a sporting event. Normally, a lot of the customers on this, they would be joining us for a Jet game or a Giant game, and we would normally be enjoying that, but we couldn't do that this year.
Yeah, pandemic is killing us, huh?
Yeah, I was just talking about how terrible they are. We wouldn't dare put our name on something just not ready for prime time at all.
Oh, look, I did research, Angelo. Is that like a little dig at your competitors there, man?
Yeah, not so subtle. Yeah, yes, it was definitely a dig at the competitors out there. Yes,
I've done some reading. You can actually sneak that past me.
Yeah.
So, what are we here to talk about, Angelo?
Well, so okay, yeah. So, I mean, look, we want to make this fun and light, right? So, we will obviously the times are we're going to talk about the pandemic, right, and how it's impacting our customers, right? When the pandemic first hit, we just saw like a rapid change going on in a lot of our customers. They were all trying to solve a problem or multiple problems that were common, day-to-day routines, things that were impacted by the pandemic that they just couldn't do anymore because they weren't in an office or in a data center. Things that are now or historically have been on-prem, now going to the cloud. The cloud is very much relevant. Workloads that are hosted there are extremely valuable now. Our customers are searching for ways to protect these workloads. They want the same reliability, the same trust that they had with the on-prem solution. And they're asked to do this without increasing spend. We all know budgets are tight right now. And they really don't want to have to redesign their entire environment just to implement a solution to protect what is inevitable going to be a hybrid on-prem and cloud infrastructure.
You can, if anybody drops a line, you can blame it on like technical stuff. You could just say that you were cutting out or something like that.
Are you guys there?
Yes. I don't know if they have us on screen.
Well, I was on screen.
You were on screen by yourself. Look, John's sneaking in like he stole something. What are you doing, John?
I was letting Angelo have the spotlight since he's such a handsome man. You know, when you put
it's the HD camera.
When you put 3 people on the screen, we look a lot better than when one of us is on the screen alone. So we should tell a director that. Tommy, what about the clouds? You want to talk a little bit about the clouds? Angelo mentioned clouds there.
No, I know. I just the thing is, I have a little bit of I have a cloud problem, and I think a lot of the average person has a lot of cloud problems. I don't know if this means anything to you, Angelo. I know you're like an actual person too, besides being from NetX, like knowing software and all that jazz. But I gotta say, I don't know if anybody has the same kind of thing. I have like 11 different clouds that I'm like locked out of 4 of them, and 3 of them I can get into, and then 2 of them they refuse to give me my password anymore. So clouds are very, very annoying to me. Like someday when I die, I'm gonna pass the cloud, and I'm gonna find out what my password is, because I have a cloud from iTunes. I have all kinds of clouds. And I'm terrified of the cloud. I'm also afraid of my stuff being in the cloud, because I don't know who's going in the cloud, looking around inside the cloud at my stuff, because I don't want to come home and my entire cloud is on my living room floor and my kids are looking in my cloud. Let's not go. We're going to leave that at that. But Angelo, maybe you can explain or move us on to whatever
Something else.
Yeah, I mean, look, guys, you're talking about the cloud. It's certainly something we're going to talk about in a little bit, right? And the cloud, the pandemic certainly highlighted the cloud. It's there, it's real, it's been an effective tool for our customers to be able to dynamically start moving their workloads up there, so that they're not bound by their data center. There's a lot. Look, there's a lot you can do. You know, safety is important. Absolutely. Well, look, I'll give you an example of safety. Before the pandemic hit, a common thing that our customers would do is just having tapes in their environment, right? Managing tapes every day, someone going in, changing tapes, taking out tapes, Iron Mountain comes through, they go to the, they've been doing this for 35 years, maybe 40 years with tape, right? When this lockdown started, just something as simple as the logistics around is how do we get someone to let somebody in to go take our tapes and then manage our tape environment? Something that simple that we've always taken for granted because the data center has walls and there was always somebody there to come in. It just was a difficult thing to plan around, right? So that's just getting the tapes off site. But then there was a risk. What if you actually had a need to get those tapes back because you got hit with some sort of ransomware or you got hit with some sort of event that you actually needed to call tapes out and you needed them there in 4 hours, and who's there to look? All this operational stuff that we just took for granted. And, the pandemic really opened up our customers' eyes and our eyes to the cloud being very relevant in the way we go to market and the way our customers are asking us to support their business.
Now, I mean, is this anything similar to like I have like cassette tapes from the 70s and 80s, and I moved them into iTunes? Like I had a place that converted them. Nothing.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Listen, I'm not always the best guy to explain this technology to in layman terms, and I would be nice and say layman terms. But I did ask a good friend of mine, Julia Rivera, if he would be available for me on standby, kind of like a phone a friend, right? You remember phones, right, Tom? Kind of like a phone a friend. I hope he's a busy guy. I hope he puts some time in his calendar. Let me see if I can give him a call.
Julio. Julio.
Julio. Stop calling him Julio. He doesn't like it.
That's a pleasant sound. Let's do that some more.
Yeah, that's a great phone ring app.
Is that a phone ring?
Oh. You want me to talk about it? I mean, I have a lot of knowledge in that area.
No, I prefer you mute out. Julio, wake up, buddy.
Hello.
Hey, what's up? Hey, Angelo. I'm here for you, man. What's up?
What's up with you taking a nap in the middle of the day, dude? You always tell me you're so busy.
It was a power nap. That's all. It was a power nap. That's all it was.
Yeah.
What's up? What's up?
Listen, we're gonna need to power up this webinar that we're on here right now. Julia, I got Tom and John off from Laughter Saves Lives, and I got on with we tried to have some levity for this event, and these guys are talk show hosts, but meanwhile they start pounding me with real questions because somebody read something on Google, and I was telling these guys how we have a lot of customers working hard to really reduce the dependency on the data center. And I gave an example of physical access during the pandemic. It's just not assumed anymore. I suggested customers going tapeless. They suggested cassettes to iTunes, just to give you the level of the people we're talking to there. Like I said, he's asking me how this stuff works. And when anyone asks me anything other than how much does this stuff cost, I call guys like you.
That's cool. So, how can I help? What do you want to know?
Let's talk a little bit about the, Net Backup 8.3 and how we're solving tape elimination.
Well, listen, I mean, tape is legacy, right? I mean, it's kind of old stuff. I mean, look, it still has a benefit to a lot of customers. The problem is, in this world we live in now, those benefits go away. If I can't get to the tapes to use them for recovery, which is the primary reason why you back up, it kind of defeats the whole purpose, right?
Yeah, totally. So Julio, Net Backup 8.3, some stuff, some legacy versions of it had that as well. What exactly are you suggesting?
So look, we've been telling customers even before 8.3 that they've got to make a move from tape out to disk and cloud, right? By having some on-premise storage, right? Typically in an appliance, we have purpose-built appliances, we have different types, but the idea is real suited. These on-premise disk repositories are better suited for managing backups remotely. It offers some performance benefits and recovery benefits I can't get with tape, such as I can reduce storage requirements with deduplication. I can get faster backups because we have a technology called Accelerator, which means I'm not sending I'm sending very small parts of it, the data, kind of an incremental forever data, if you will. Faster recovery with something called instant access, where I can mount up an image in a matter of minutes, if you will. So at the end of the day, we're serving a lot. And the real cool thing we've done of late is we've got this thing called a cache gateway. You may know it as Cloud Catalyst, but the cache gateway to the cloud really does a lot to help customers that want to move data into the cloud.
So, Julia, for the sake of Tom and John, they're going to think the cache gateway is their wallet out to their wife. Can you talk to them, and more specifically the customers on this event, what exactly is the cache gateway?
Yeah, sure. So what it is, it's a repository, right? A centralized repository where we store the data. And what's pretty cool is as data comes in from different backup servers, we can do something called global deduplication. So if Julio's resume happens to be on 5 different locations and I bring it to this gateway, I keep a single copy of it. Now at this point, what I do is I send it up to the cloud in a optimized fashion. So I've reduced network traffic. I've reduced the amount of storage I use over there. And those all go to the whole idea of the total cost of ownership of moving to the cloud. Now, you mentioned 8.3. In 8.3, we did something pretty cool. We moved that functionality, which used to be a separate Cloud Catalyst appliance or build your own box, and we moved it into our media servers. And we refer to it as direct cloud tiering. So if you've got a media server at 8.3 or later, build your own net backup appliance, a container in Flex, or coming soon, our hyperconverged scale out offering, FlexScale, still coming. But that kind of stuff, right, really allows customers to scale out and go tapeless. So we're moving data out there, and not only are we moving it to the cloud, but we can move it to their archive storage tier, which is the cheapest form of cloud.
Yeah, yeah. For the record, Julio, I'm sure me and a lot of people in the Veritas ecosystem would agree. Your resume is not allowed to be anywhere out there. But yeah. So look, that sounds like a great solution. Right? It sounds like we're talking about the secondary copy of your data, right? It's your backup. It's what you would send to tape normally, going out to the cloud. Again, that secondary copy, very important, right? But what about when the primary data originates in the cloud? You know, the source data that we would normally be backing up on-prem with net backup is now in the cloud. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so this is pretty important, and we're talking about backup in the cloud, right?
Okay, hang on. All right, I know I'm not supposed to, whatever. You guys are talking to some mumbo jumbo for me because I'm a layman guy, but I have stuff in the cloud, right? I'm a regular guy. Now I got stuff in the cloud. Now I don't necessarily want everybody to see the stuff in the cloud. So how do I know that, like I was saying to Angelo before, how do I know that when I come home, my cloud's not spilled all over the living room floor and my kids, they're looking in my cloud? Now, I'm not saying I would put anything in the cloud that was at all, you know, whatever. I'm just saying maybe that somebody has sensitive documents, let's put it that way, that they don't want everybody to see. Now, how are they protect? Because it makes you nervous. You know, when you hear about the cloud, it feels like something that somebody could just move, go like this, and then grab all your stuff and run away. I'm sorry if this is totally off what you're saying.
Yeah. So in your way, what you've just explained is a really important thing to customers.
I love when you call an idiot nice in a way.
Yeah.
Like,
So,
in
but
your cute little way, that you just said that. I love that.
But listen, as when customers, you know, the biggest challenge with cloud has been when I move there, what's the security of my data? And there's still some companies that won't do it, right? They haven't gotten there yet. Now we've come a long way in the last 5-7 years where it's getting better. Whether that's encryption and other things to protect that, better locking down of your data. But yeah, not only do customers want to lock down their primary data sitting in the cloud, but they want to make sure that when we back it up and we protect it, we're giving that same level of security, whether that's two-factor authentication, whether that's encryption, making sure that by chance, if someone gets a copy of that data, they just can't open it up and do what they want with it. So security is pretty important to our customers.
Hey, Julio, can I ask you, Angelo and Julio, do you think on your website maybe Tom could make a video for you guys to explain it to your customers about the cloud? Is that possible?
I think we'll have to
I don't think I want. Yeah, I don't think I personally would be the person to talk to, but we can send you an email address and make that suggestion.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, we got
brilliant. I love how you did that. You're such a
It's a no. It's a no, Tom.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, we'll talk it over on the next meeting. You know, don't hold your breath, but we'll get back.
Call you back.
That's great.
So, Julio, sorry. I mean, before Tom interrupted us with an excellent question there, I don't think we talked about the on-prem workloads now in the cloud, backing them up. Talked a little bit about, how are we doing that today in that backup 8.3? And Tom, let Julio answer the question.
So first, the big driver here, really, as customers want to move data into the cloud from on-prem, the big challenge is, hey, they want to move from OpEx expense to CapEx expense, right? They want to change kind of those dollar figures. They also want to pay as you grow. And here's what I mean by that. That we got the holidays coming up, right? So some companies, or some verticals, point of sale or whatever, or take even Amazon, their business is going to grow at this point in time of the year, right? Amazon's really big anytime, but really, if you think about it, it's going to grow. They might want more capacity right now, but after the holidays, they want to shrink that capacity because they don't need it for the rest of the year. Well, that's the benefit of the cloud, being able to kind of scale up or down based on the needs you have. And really what really cool about it is if I want to deploy that new workload, let's say I've got a SQL server or a file server I need to bring up, I can do that right from my home, right? And I can bring it up wherever I want in the world. I can make sure it's highly available, replicate it, and I don't need to go to a data center to do that. So that agility, that flexibility is really what's attracting customers to moving workloads in the cloud. But it's very critical that once you move data to the cloud, you could protect that data in the cloud.
Well, I mean, I guess that's, that's another level of confusion. I mean, look at what Tom just talked about. Tom talked about his data's in the cloud. It's all secure already, right? I mean, so there's a lot of customers on this call and on this event that says, hey, well, I mean, the cloud is physical. We put it up there, things up there, and it works. Isn't the data inherently protected in the cloud? So Julio, let's talk about that. It's in the cloud. Isn't it inherently already protected?
Now, Angelo, I know we've spoken a number of times on this, and you're just not listening to me, dude. Because the thing I tell you all the time is you could put it there, but they don't protect it for you. They have no responsibility if your data is lost. They even put it in their agreements, right? So at the end of the day, you and your customers and you as a partner of those customers have to make sure that data is protected, right? And we do a really good job of that. What we do is we use native snapshots through APIs. We take those snapshots, we make sure they're properly protected in a stored separate place. And then we use our NetBackup interface, a common interface and catalog to determine what we've got and offer you the ability to manage that data for you. And really what's key is, let's just say you got workloads, a SQL database or whatnot, or Amazon RDS, whatever that is. We provide you an application consistent snapshot. So we make sure that the recovery will be a clean recovery. And that's pretty important to customers.
Yeah. I mean, so it's pretty much the most important aspect of data protection, would you say?
I would agree, and that's great. Thank you. That's, at the end of the day, you back up to restore. That's the key of it, right? And what customers want is flexibility in that recovery.
I listen. You tell me I don't listen. I listen.
Sometimes it sinks in sometimes, but I know Chris has got your back just in case you don't pick it up. So I know that.
Right.
At the end of the day, what customers want is flexibility. They want to be able to say, if I need to recover that full VM, allow me to do that. But if I need to do a file level or folder level recovery, I need that capability. And that's what we offer with our technology. What we believe we offer as customers is the flexibility to restore data, excuse me, the way they need to in the fastest way possible.
Yeah. All right. So look, I get a request. I need to restore one VM. I need to restore a handful of files. I'm doing that in that backup. But in a real world situation, be it a disaster, a malicious attack, customers in the midst of this mess that they're in, they need to recover a bunch of these workloads, tons of servers at the same time, some of them virtual, some of them physical, just to get their business back up and running. NetBackup is solving that problem for them.
Yes, NetBackup does that. Listen, I'd love to keep talking, right? But dude, as you saw, I was really in an important strategic meeting before you called. I need to get back to that.
Sure.
I need to focus on that. But listen, one of my buddies, him, Joe D'Angelo, Goomba there, he's always ready and willing to help out with this stuff. Maybe we can pull him in and see if he can help you out with the rest of your questions. How's that?
Yeah, pull him on. The more the merrier.
All right, so I'll give Joe
on one call. It's a lot of Italians on one call.
That's okay. That's why I'll probably be getting off the call at this point. But let me give Joe a call right now. Joe?
Yeah. Joe? Julio? Hey, what's up, dude? What's going on?
Dude, you eating cereal in the afternoon. What is that?
What?
All right, listen, I don't got time for this. Angelo's on the line. He's got questions. I'm done with him. Can you kind of pick it up for me?
Yeah, let me finish my breakfast. I mean, late afternoon snack, man. This is homeschooling. This is like the only time I can eat in peace, man.
Yeah, gotcha. Later, Angelo. Later, Joe. I gotta go.
Angelo, hey, buddy.
Take care.
Hey, man. What's going on? Sorry, let me finish there. Let me guess, another DR conversation, huh? Because this better not be another one of those pasta versus macaroni debates. Because I'm a busy guy and I can't take another one of those.
Joe, I'm not having that debate anymore. Macaroni goes on cheese. Gravy goes on turkey. That's it. We're not having this conversation again.
Okay. All right. Then how can I help you? What's up, man?
Sorry, Joe. You came in a little broken up. I'm not sure if you realize it, but we're actually on a WebEx right now. Did you notice that?
Joe, we're live right now, Joe. And if you don't answer, Tom's going to answer.
How many people are on this call right now? Are we live? Are we doing some kind of like stream or something?
Yeah, you had the day
Yeah,
one.
so it's a webinar.
Dude, I would have put some pants on if I knew there were going to be people on this.
Oh my God. First, John was peeing earlier today. Now you do. All right, listen, say hello and don't stand up.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah. Just don't stand and wave.
I'll stay seated.
I mean, literally.
All right, yeah, stay there. All right, look, we're past the pasta, past the pants. Let's take a few minutes to talk about NetBackup 8.3, specific to what you're an expert in. Cloud-based recovery out of NetBackup 8.3. Can you talk a little bit? We got a lot of customers on here, Joe. So talk about how that's relevant in NetBackup 8.3.
Sure thing, Angelo. Yeah, it'd be my pleasure. Let me first take a moment to discuss the latest product to be included with NetBackup 8.3, and that is the Veritas Resiliency Platform, or NetBackup Resiliency. It's designed from the ground up to provide unparalleled levels of orchestration and automation. VRP enables you to recover primary and secondary workloads from on-prem to either Azure or AWS clouds. And moreover, if you have Cloud Catalyst, VRP can help automate the restores of all your VM instances using the efficiencies of MSDP. But beyond that, for your primary workloads, VRP will also help replicate, while maintaining write order fidelity, your Windows and Linux instances from VMware and Hyper-V directly to Amazon EC2 or the Azure cloud, with refactoring all the data along the way, so you needn't require any further manipulation of that data once it's resident in the cloud.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe. And I could have read the data sheet myself to everyone. That's a whole lot of words, a whole lot of letters. Let's unpack that a little bit. All right. Let's talk specifically about the benefits of resiliency and orchestration as part of your overall data protection scheme. And in real world, what's a real world use case that the folks on the webinar can actually relate to?
You know what? I'm sorry, Angelo, you're absolutely right. My boss isn't on this call. At least I don't think he is. I'm going to just dispense with all of the official sounding jargon. Plain and simple, VRP provides context for your data protection strategy. And when I say context, I mean it's a way to associate your IT environment with your business. This means protecting entire services instead of just an individual application. And at the end of the day, what you really care about most is your end user experience, which invariably is going to have numerous components that compose it.
Yeah, awesome, Joe. Thanks. That's all we want is real world conversation for today. And plus, besides, it's supposed to be a comedy show. Look, in the alphabet soup of your opening, you mentioned primary and secondary workloads, and we talked a little bit about secondary workloads with Julio earlier too. And whether they're running on-prem or in the cloud. Let's differentiate, if we can, the value that the resiliency platform offers beyond just orchestrating recovery out of the backup, which again is that secondary workload. I opened this event talking about how the pandemic has brought the cloud discussion up a notch, going beyond using it as a tape replacement. How does VRP come into play for helping customers transition from the boundaries of the data center to the flexibility of the cloud?
Yeah, so no matter what you put in the cloud, right, whether it's work or play, VRP is a round trip, open-ended ticket to the cloud, which means any workload you move there, it can be brought back right on-prem at a moment's notice. And the great thing about disaster recovery is that what you get with that basically is the capability to migrate, because it's pretty much the same technology. And what's even better is that you'll have an opportunity to rehearse these migrations or rehearse these DR procedures at any time without actually impacting your production. And for anybody who's ever tried to migrate even just a single virtual machine to the cloud, you know that there is an endless number of caveats: networking, storage, hypervisors, applications, security, the list goes on and on. With VRP, all of that is incorporated into the recovery process. So whether it's one VM or 100 interdependent services, the workflow that you can create inside of VRP takes all of that into account.
Awesome, Joe. Me, I'm never at a loss for words, but I think I'm speechless at this point when it comes to business continuity. Clearly, NetBackup 8.3, now including the resiliency platform, is an invaluable asset for our customers, and our customers should absolutely leverage it. Where would we point our customers to learn more about VRP, Joe?
Well, I mean, Angelo, at this point, you should be an expert given how many times you've asked me these questions and how many times you've had this conversation. So I'd start by saying, hey, why don't you give NetX a call? Or if you want, you can visit veritas.com/availability/resiliency-platform. And I guess we're on a YouTube stream somewhere. So I guess you should probably click somewhere. Usually that's what it means.
Yeah, no, I don't think
I know everything about this now.
No, I don't think we opted for that. Thanks, Joe. Really appreciate it.
I can't smash the like button. I want to smash the like button. I want to click the bell notification. I want to comment down below. All right.
Go ahead. Take it down below. Joe.
All right.
Appreciate it so much.
You're welcome.
What I gathered from this conversation is the prospects of managing recovery and in mass. You listening?
I'm listening.
It's working. Oh, okay. Anyway, the concept of trying to recover in mass without an orchestration tool in the midst of a disaster or a malicious attack is slightly more frightening than the state of your current wardrobe situation. Of course, look, our team at NetX are here to help all customers. We'd love to have you participate in a proof of concept on how to integrate the resiliency platform with NetBackup. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Julio. Julio, if you're out there awake somewhere, thank you. Tom, John, you want to take it back?
Yeah.
Angelo, guys, interesting stuff.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for having us on the show, LaughterSavesLives.org. Tommy, you want to...
Johnny, that was really great. I mean, you know, it's weird because although like it's almost like when you bring me along, I'm like the guy you bring along that asks the dumbest stuff possible. You know what I mean? Like that's why you have me. You have me to ask really dumb stuff so you can go, oh, okay, so let's pat the idiot on the head and explain it to everybody. It's fantastic because now I actually understand. I mean, I literally understand what
Tommy, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Who's this lady?
Hi,
I don't know.
Angela. Is that Angela? Did I find
John, who
you?
is that?
Talia,
Thank you so
Talia?
much. Thank you. That was so nice of you. He paid for my Starbucks. I left my money at home. I mean, now I'm drinking wine, but I just wanted to say thanks. I thought this was like a timeshare meeting because usually they have boring speakers and at the end you had a free vacation. There was like a lot of really boring people here. So what am I getting? Like a towel at least? Like something?
I don't know.
I don't
Johnny,
know. Well, thank you.
I'm not gonna lie. Oh God, I had no idea Talia was coming on.
I just like seeing all these men, you know, like I've had 2 failed marriages and
See, that's why I have a problem
still
with
in
the
one
cloud,
of them.
Angelo.
Interesting,
Yeah.
Talia. I have no
It's
idea who
really
this is,
the
guys.
cloud. There's so much talk about the weather. Like we all know it's cloudy. It's horrible outside. I mean, that's why we're all inside, right? Like it's horrible. My husband's family's from Winnipeg. Have you heard of Winnipeg? Canada? It's horrible. It's worse.
Yeah.
It's like 40 below every day. Okay, like they plug in their cars. Oh my God, the women grow hair on their chest. I mean, it's hard. I'll tell you, if they ever find Bigfoot, it'll be a woman from Winnipeg. I swear to my mother-in-law, that too. No, it's terrible. Anyway, when we were dating, though, I'll tell you this. Like, he asked if I would move. I said, honestly, I'll probably just lie there. I can't. I'm from Plainview. So we met on a Jewish, since you asked, we met on a Jewish dating website called anxiety.com. You should check it out. Look, he was the best of what was available at the time. Okay, why am I reciting my wedding vows? Anyway, we've been together now for money. And it's going this $50 bottle. Cheers. I am so bored in this pandemic. Thank you. I'll tell you this too. I'm not interested in being a mother. Ugh. Which is a shame since I have 2 daughters. Yasmin in Montana. They're great. I wasn't ready to become a mom like when I did. I had one friend who had a daughter when I was pregnant with my first. And I remember I called her and she was so excited. She was like, oh my God, I didn't know anything. I knew nothing. And she's like, I am picking you up and taking you straight to Bye Bye Baby. And I was like, what? Bye Bye Cheryl, you know I'm keeping it, right? I mean, like, I had no idea, okay? Like, I didn't know anything. I was a single mom for a while, too. That was tough. But I mean, in Plainview, that just means I didn't have a nanny. So Stu, that's my husband, he said, I'll tell you, Angelo, he said we could get a nanny for a while. Like, he really did. He wanted to get one. He called me over to his computer and he was like, look at this one. We should hire her. Oh, look, Talia, she looks great. So I remember I took a look and I was like, okay, you're on a porno site. Those are not real nannies. Okay. Look. Marriage is hard, right, guys? Marriage is so hard, but dating is harder. Dating is harder, especially now that I'm married. It is really hard. And especially during a pandemic. Like, who goes out? Who's doing anything? I feel like I say things to Stu, my husband, that sound like I'm breaking up with him, but I'm not. You know, I'm not. Like, I love you, but I want to see other people. And it's just really hard right now because everything is scary. It's scary to go out. Like, the supermarket is terrifying. There's so much hustle bustle. It's really tight in some of these small suburban supermarkets. And there's people back to holding the carts with their naked hands, like raw hands, no gloves. A woman just shoved my cart gloveless the other day. I was like, excuse me, what are you, an animal? You're just raw handing my cart, you animal? It was terrible. But the supermarket, that's like your local whorehouse now. I hate to say it, but it is. Like, it is a whorehouse. Think about it. Angelo knows what I mean, because you go in there.
What do you mean?
You don't want anybody to see your face,
Angelo.
right? You got to wear protection going in, and before you know it, you're out $500. And you keep going back, even though you know you shouldn't. I'm just saying. I mean, look, there's definitely been some positives of the pandemic, like some silver linings. You've had more time with your family, less time with your extended family, which is really nice. You got to catch up on some Netflix shows. I mean, sure, we're getting fatter, but affairs with gym trainers are down 40%. And that's a real Long Island statistic. Some of you got your PPP SBA money, right? Like, that was exciting, although you're sorry you took all those business deductions last year. Don't you wish there was a box on the application where you could check, my net was actually a lot higher, I just couldn't say it. John knows what I'm talking about.
All right, Talia, move along.
Okay, so you guys are so much fun. I'm gonna end now. I just wanted to say hi. It's so hard to say goodbye on Zoom. It's like, we're in a pandemic. Where am I going? I gotta go. What am I gonna do? Watch the water boil? So if one thing we've learned is to just say, I gotta go. I don't want to see you anymore. So thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Talia. Talia Reese, let's hear it for Talia.
Talia Reese.
In.
Talia. Thank
I'm
you.
so glad Angelo met her at Starbucks that we were able to bring her in. Well, Tom, Angelo, thank you so much for having Tom and I on. Laughter Saves Lives for the donation. You guys have been wonderful.
Johnny, I just want to point something out. We have,
Yes.
in case anybody wanted to ask any questions that are in the audience that are listening to this, you can type questions in at YouTube. Johnny, I don't know if they'll stay there on YouTube or if they
Go
can
into the
type
cloud, Tommy. They go into the cloud, the questions.
Yeah, that's great. Then we got to bring Julio back now. Don't do that. We're going to have to wake him up again.
Oh, he's going to yell at me again. You're going to ask another stupid question. He's going to think it's my
dumb
fault.
question. Type your questions in. Go call these guys, and they'll be able to answer any questions, anything that you were interested in. It was a great time. I had a great time.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Angelo,
Thank you guys. You did great.
Angelo,
No,
you want to?
you guys already broke it up. You guys were excellent. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Veritas. Thank you, Last to Save Lives.
Yes.
More importantly, thank you, customers. All right.
And
Oh,
everybody.
thank you, Rick.
Thanks for
Hey,
listening.
that cash gateway was for you, by the way. That cash gateway was for you.
Good night. Good afternoon.
Yeah. Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon.
Thank you, guys.
See you guys soon. Be well.
Pleasure. The wrong logo again. It's the wrong.